eagle-eyed audience members may have noticed that the search bar up top doesn't say Ask Guru, it says Ask Your Friendly People Ops Agent. So it looks like you've created a knowledge agent specifically for people ops content. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. Like an
Um,
extension of our team.
Yeah, yeah. And so this can be really great for answering those questions around performance reviews as well. So just to kind of show an example of how that can work, I'm going to ask it a question like, when will our next performance review happen and how will it be structured? To give folks a look at what kind of response the your friendly people ops agent gives, and maybe you can talk us through your approach to getting it to produce such a beautiful answer like we see here.
Yeah, so it all has to do with like the prompt and the sources and everything that you feed the agent and how we set that up. And I don't whether we're getting that now or in a little
Yeah.
bit, Matt, but
Yeah, yeah.
um
Actually, before let me show we see this great example here, and we've got three different cards that it's pulling from here to give this really thorough, beautiful response. And I just want to show, and sorry, Jess, I'll kick it back to you in a sec.
okay.
Um, if I ask the regular Guru default agent, which has a different prompt and different sources behind it, it's going to give me a different looking answer. And I just wanted to show this sort of back-to-back comparison so people can understand a little bit more clearly what value that a specialized knowledge agent could potentially bring to this type of use case, specifically for people ops, but also for all different types of use cases. And so, of course, we're live here on a workshop, and this answer is taking unusually long to load, and it's giving me a different result than it did before. This one's longer and pulling from more resources, but we can see that it's a different style question. It's a different tone of voice. The response is pretty similar here in the sort of bulleted structure, but we see that it's pulling from a couple different sources here and has a different format there. So the look and feel of the responses can definitely vary based on what that knowledge agent is designed to produce. So now that we saw that sort of back-to-back comparison, let me come into the knowledge manager or the knowledge agent manager screen here so you can talk us through a little bit more about how you engineered the your friendly people ops agent to respond to questions here with this prompt.
Yeah, so I think if you look at the role specifically, like we want this people ops agent to feel like it's an extension of our people team. So, you're going to respond in a kind, empathetic, helpful way. Definitely want you to remain curious and provide robust, detailed answers, but also only respond with documentation that you know is verified and that you have access to. Definitely want you to respond specifically with bullets and give people next steps and action items because that's always helpful, which you saw with the people ops agent response, but not necessarily with the generic guru agent response. I also use a lot of reactions and emojis myself, so I always want our agent to be using emojis for emphasis. So I think like just being able to tailor that prompt specifically was really helpful to make it feel like it's more of an extension of our team rather than just asking a generic question.
Yeah, I love that. I think the agent is so far really great at responding in that kind of tone of voice and giving that formatted response with the bullets and the emojis. Always gives me really thorough responses there. And part of the reason why it's able to give such thorough, accurate responses too is because we've limited the sources, right?
Yeah. So company knowledge is going to cover things around town hall, newsletter, core values, things around our communication strategy, whereas finance and accounting information is going to talk to you about expense reimbursement strategies, taxation, things like that. People ops obviously is going to have all of our HR content. And then our help people out Slack channel is a treasure trove of information for people asking previous questions that usually end up getting documented in Guru, but if not, it's also going to use that as a source to help answer questions as well. And then you can see in the Slack channel section of the setup, this sits in our benefits information channel, which we use specifically around open enrollment and about benefit specific questions. Our help people ops channel is also where we receive kind of frontline questions and requests from the team that aren't necessarily sensitive in nature. Um, the agent lives on specific pages, so you can see when you go to that tab, we've got it on our CKO page, it's on our onboarding hub page, it's on our people ops hub page. Our open enrollment and wellness perk pages are kind of in construction right now, but the agent will live on those as well and answer specifically questions that are asked on those pages. And then I think the last thing in the setup is just that we use Rippling for our HRIS, we use ChartHop for engagement, performance management, comp management, all of those things. So we want to make sure that in the extension, the people ops agent is who will be answering you when you ultimately are on some of those services. And you can see if you were to ask a question while you're logged into Rippling or HRIS, it's going to respond with that tone, that voice, and the information that it has versus just, again, the generic agent with a generic prompt.
Yeah. Love that. And just to recap, because that's a lot, and it may be new to a lot of people in the room here. So you can pin the knowledge agent to certain websites. So I'm over our Rippling HRIS tool here now, and when I open up the Guru extension, I don't have to switch to that agent. That agent is automatically on my default search bar because the extension is recognizing that I'm over top of Rippling, and so I don't even have to switch between agents. It's just going to be, I'm going to ask my question that's related to Rippling stuff, likely is going to be best answered by the friendly people ops agent, which is the default agent for that website. And we see in the sources tab, like these are the information that are feeding into the agent. So this is the only places that the agent can look. So it's got that specialized search behind it. It's got that Slack channel where people go to ask questions and where you and other people ops folks answer questions a lot. Those threads and those conversations in Slack are informing the potential answers that this agent gives when you ask the agent a question. And you've got that kind of closed loop circle with Guru automatically responding to questions that are asked in these specific Slack channels. So when people go into these Slack channels and ask a question, Guru is going to be the first sort of line of defense and automatically respond to questions using this agent, using the sources that we see here to answer that question. And if Guru can't answer that question, that's where you come in, give a nice response, and then now we're intaking that new information that you've threaded in by having that Slack channel also as a source into that agent. So it's like a full circle, making sure that knowledge is captured, shared, and easy to find for folks.